Hey, it's Casper, and today I want to talk to you about why you should stop trying to breathe better. Breathing better isn't generally a good idea, but we should understand that this is not the goal. The goal is to live better. I coach breathing coaches, I train people to be breathwork facilitators, and I have to keep reminding them the whole time nobody gives a shit about breathing better. Nobody wants to breathe better. People want to live better. How can we use the breath as a tool to live better or to help people to live better? Okay? If you think about the things that are most important for your life, what are they? How well can you bring your awareness, your attention, your presence to them? And if any of those aren't fully aligned, if you feel like you can't really do what you want to do in life, you don't have the energy, you don't have the focus, you don't have the awareness, the presence that you can bring to life in order to make your life shine, then what are you going to do about it? This is where a lot of people start to step on the path of self-improvement and self-development, and a lot of people find breath. Now, I've been teaching breath, facilitating breathing sessions for about 8 years, and I rarely meet people who actually need to be able to breathe better, in a sense. Like I rarely work with people who have severe pathology or their lungs don't work properly or they have some kind of a dysfunction that makes them incapable of living their life. This is not the kind of people that I see. Those people generally go to doctors and they go to like specialized breathing therapists, but this is not really the kind of people that I see or that my coaches see. What I do see is thousands and thousands of people who say, I want more from life. I want to be able to relax more easily. I want to wake up with more energy. I want to get home, put my work bag down, not think about all those emails anymore and just cuddle my kids without worrying about the future or whatever. I want to be able to sit at the dinner table and relax and enjoy my meal and talk to my loved ones. I want to be able to go to bed and not have to think about all of these stressful things that have kept me all day and actually be able to go to sleep, have a nice restful night and wake up again. Like this is what people want. So why do we focus on breathing better as a goal? And in general, why would we focus on health as a goal if it is guaranteed that we're going to lose our health at the end of the line? Right? So I keep having to remind people in this whole field of self-improvement, of biohacking, is the question, what are you improving for? What are you optimizing for? What are you biohacking for? Why do you want to breathe better? Well, and then the answers usually come very simple human stuff. Like I want to cuddle my kids without worrying. I want to be able to go to bed and go to sleep, actually, like these kinds of things. So that is where the breath comes in so handy. So if you think that me as the breathwork biohacker or the breathwork teacher guy is going to tell you that you should be breathing in some perfect way, hell no. This is not interesting. What I'm interested in is what is important to you. What do you want to get better at in life? And how can we use the breath in order to help you improve this? And this is a question you can start to ask, right? Same goes for nutrition, goes for movement, goes for all the self-help stuff you're doing. Which of these elements actually allow you to do the things that you want to do better? Because I meet so many people who have a morning ritual with all kinds of things that they believe are really good for them. And they do this whole morning ritual. They spend a whole hour doing this morning ritual in the hopes that it might make them better at something, might have them reach some objective thing, or some people do it for longevity, right? So they basically spend hours in their day to do all kinds of rituals and daily habits and things and improve their habits and improve their performance so that they might live longer. Well, you could actually use that same hour, that same time, to actually live. It doesn't make sense to sit down on a meditation cushion in the morning and do an hour of breathing practice if you don't know what you are breathing for. What are you doing it for? And this, of course, starts with purpose. Do you know what is most important in your life? Do you have a feeling that there's something greater to life that you are contributing to, that you are a part of, right? If you don't have this, then of course, you're not going to feel like sitting on your meditation cushion and doing an hour of breath work. And of course, you're not going to feel like going to the gym if you don't know what you're doing it for. So this is why it's so important to stop trying to optimize for all of these specific objective things. Unless, of course, you're an optimizing nerd, right? If you're like me, the kind of person who just really enjoys tweaking and really enjoys going into the nuts and the bolts and figuring out, hey, how can I get my HRV better? Or how can I get my blood test to come out better? Just because you like it, just because that is an expression of who you are, then by all means do that. But the question is, what to you is the ultimate expression of who you are? What do you need in order to express yourself in this authentic, truthful way that is meaningful to you? And if you know this, then the question is, how can I start to use breathwork to start to improve this quality? Now, for example, let's say you would really love to stand in life as maybe a business owner or being self-employed and saying, this is who I am, these are my qualities, this is important to me. But you feel a fear or you feel an inhibition and you don't really dare to step out into the world and to go, hey world, this is me, this is what I want to put out there. Then the question is, okay, so what is holding you back? For a lot of people, this is some kind of trauma, for example, some kind of emotional inhibition. Maybe at some point in life, early on, you were in the schoolyard and you were like, hey guys, this is me and this is my plan. And everybody goes, ha, loser. And then you kind of like close that up, right? You have this mini trauma of like, oh, I shouldn't show myself. Okay, so how does breathwork come into play? Well, guess what? You could do an awesome breathing session, a breakthrough breathing session, as I call them, where you work with a breathing coach who facilitates a therapeutic setting in which you can feel safe, and they help to figure out where in your nervous system you kind of got stuck with your ability to express yourself or to show yourself truthfully. Then they can facilitate a deep, intense, profound breathing session where you kind of have a mind-blowing psychedelic experience and you cry or you purge or you scream and you fully let go of this thing that has been holding you back. And then you find yourself being lighter. You find yourself being more brave in a sense towards this fear and to be like, hold on a second, this is how I live my life. This is what I'm going to do. And then you step into life and you find that basically these things that you wanted to do are suddenly available to you because you cleaned up the emotional inhibitions or you resolved the old trauma that you had around it. And then that one breathing session, just one maybe 15 to 30 minute properly guided breathing session can help you live onward in a way that is way more profound, that is more aligned, that is more purposeful and meaningful to you. And if that is the case, by all means, stop doing breathwork altogether. Why would you do more breathwork if you already got the thing that you wanted, right? Or let's say somebody really does have some pathology or a dysfunctional pattern, or they're, for example, chronically hyperventilating and they're chronically anxious. Now, of course, somebody who's chronically anxious and who's chronically hyperventilating, always breathing at this frequency of like, don't feel safe in my body, I don't feel good. By the way, I made another video about this. You can check that on my channel. If you always feel that way, right, then you want to get on the other side of that feeling. You want to literally be able to live while feeling safe. Then chronic hyperventilation is, of course, constantly fanning the fire of that anxiety. So then you would want to start improving your breathing and, for example, work with hypoventilation practice. Do maybe 2 10-minute moments in the day where you start to lower your breath and relax your breathing, and then your body starts to tune itself. Your brainstem starts to be differently tuned in relation to, for example, CO2. Your cortisol cycle can reestablish itself. And then you find your breath is calmer, your breath is more effortless, and your life is calmer. Your life is more effortless. And if you can start to live from that place where you basically chronically breathe in a functional way, you step into life, you go about life, and your body just breathes in the perfect way that matches your new calm and peaceful state, then you wouldn't really need to do any more breathwork practice. There's no sense in improving from an objective standpoint your breath beyond that, right? Because you got the thing that you want. And the same thing goes for athletes. Athletes, they just say, I want to be able to run to the end of this field and not be out of breath. And I go, cool, let's make that happen. And once they've done that, I'm only going to improve their breath or work with their breath to the extent that it has helped them do that. Right? And that's the cool thing about breath, of course, is that it does help to constantly build a better understanding of your breath so that you can start to see that any situation in life can be related to from the breath. right? Because all of these examples that I've just given you, somebody who has trauma and they need a breakthrough in order to live better, somebody who's constantly anxious and hyperventilating can reprogram their hyperventilation in order to be more aligned with their life, or an athlete who can improve their CO2 tolerance and their oxygen uptake so that they can perform better at what they want to perform at. All of these things function on the same core basic principles. So if you understand the core principle of breath, how your nervous system regulates itself based on breath, and how it allows you to do the things that you want to do, then of course you're on a path of mastering the whole of life. Because then whatever challenge comes along, you know that there is a way to breathe that will help you deal with this challenge. So from that perspective, you can kind of flip the script and go, okay, so then it actually does make sense to get better at breath. Well, in a way, of course, it does, right? I'm not going to contradict myself way at the end of this video, but the point is that if you understand that the why comes first, if you understand that what you want to be better at, how you want to live, that should be the primary point on the horizon. And then breath is just one of the tools. So is nutrition, so is movement or meditation or all of these different biohacking tools. And then once you have seen the power of this, once you understand, wait, I can live a more fulfilling life and I can do more of the things I want to do if I dedicate myself towards, for example, a breathing practice where every day I sit down and I do a practice and get the compound benefits. But the same thing goes for going to the gym or eating well. You first have to experience that it makes your life better. And you need to start to see what are the nuts and bolts, what are the underlying principles that make my life better so that you always know which tools to use for which scenario, right? So instead of trying to breathe better, instead of trying to move better or eat better, think, how can I live better? What is the most important thing for me that feels like better living? And for that, I believe that the core question is, what are my core values? And what do I need to do to live according to those core values? And then start to see which tools are available, instead of just focusing on the tools and getting lost in the weeds of that. And then you'll find that the breath as a tool is one of the most powerful ones that you could possibly find. All right. Let me know what you think. Was this useful to you? If it was, make sure to give me a like, give me a follow, and I'll see you in the next video.